Hello friends, in this video I'll present to you the case study of startup called Yummist. We will try to understand why Yummist failed. So let's dive in. Yummist started in year 2014. Let's understand how it started and what was the problem Yummist was trying to solve. So we know that there are lots of people who want to eat homemade food but are not able to make it due to excessive work, right? And founders of Yummist exactly noted this problem. They saw this problem firsthand and they hence decided to solve this problem. So they launched Yummist, which was an on demand food service which delivered delicious homemade food to people. Now understand, this was not a marketplace. It was not like Yummist was connecting some home chef with the customers. In fact, let's understand how they operated. So Yummist used the cloud kitchen models to prepare and deliver the food. Now what is a cloud kitchen? So cloud kitchen is a kitchen that is used for purpose of preparing food and delivering it. So either people can come to your cloud kitchen for a takeout, that is collect their parcels from there, or the brand, that is the cloud kitchen in this case, used to deliver food to your home. So basically in cloud kitchen the only purpose is to cook the food and there is no dine-in customers. Now, why are cloud kitchen model implemented? So, cloud kitchen models are implemented primarily due to cost cutting. So, when you set up a restaurant, there is huge cost, there is high infrastructure cost, there is high designing cost, then there is high staff cost, different types of cost, right? But in case of cloud kitchen, these costs are not there. Only the cloud kitchen with basic kitchen equipments and the chef has to be set up. Only these costs are there. And the main advantage of cloud kitchen is that these cloud kitchens are easily scalable because the model can be replicated again and again as compared to a physical restaurant, and investment needed is low as well. Now the only disadvantage of cloud kitchen is that there is no personal customer interaction. So since it is a kitchen only used for preparing food, customers come there to take food only. Whereas in restaurant, people can interact with the staff and have a grand experience, right? And one more advantage of cloud kitchen is the ease of tracking orders. You can see where your order has reached while it is out for delivery. This is not something we should be concerned about at this point in time, but this is something to understand about cloud kitchen and physical restaurants. You can research more about this if you are planning to make your own cloud kitchen. So let's understand some details related to Yummist. The target audience of Yummist was clearly the office going people. The people who did not find time to prepare food was the target audience of Yummist. Vision of Yummist was to clearly make high quality delicious food at affordable prices. And the business model was a subscription based model. That is, they used to charge a monthly flat fee and used to deliver a specific number of meals in that subscription model. Let's now have a look at some of the metrics associated with Yummist. So in first 9 months of operation, Yummist got 500 customers, which were paying customers that subscribed to their service. Now this is a good achievement. This shows that they were solving a problem, a genuine problem, and people were willing to pay for it. Later, they went on to raise $1 million in January 2015, and then they raised $2 million in December 2015. The average delivery time was 15 to 20 minutes. Now, this was something exceptional, right? Like getting food in 20 minutes delivered at your home step is really great. Even if it takes 30 minutes, the customer is more than willing to pay for it. So that is how they operated. The customer acquisition cost was 180 rupees. Since this was a startup, they had to spend heavy on marketing to acquire customers. Obviously, the customer acquisition cost was a bit on a higher side. Their customer retention rate was 70%, which is exceptional in my opinion, because the customer retention, retaining customer, is the most challenging task as seen from the point of view of startups. Retaining customers is the single most difficult thing, and this will only happen when your product or service is extremely high quality. So after funding, they expanded into two more cities, which were Delhi and Bangalore. Now, everything was going good. But suddenly in 2016, that is after 2 years of operation, founders announced that they will be shutting down their company. Let's now understand the reasons that why did they fail? Why did they shut down the company? So, the first reason is that founders were not able to raise funds further because many such startups like Yummist had come earlier. For example, startups like iTiffin, Zuppermeal, Easy Meals, etc. had come before Yummist and they had failed. So this is not entirely the fault of founders, the fault of startup Yummist. This is the fault of timing, we can say. So basically in 2014, people were not used to these homemade food delivery services, and investors were also very skeptical about the food delivery space back then. For example, if today is 2022 is going on right now, and if you go on and start a edtech startup, you are bound to get huge funding because currently edtech boom is going on, right? But at that time, since many such startups had failed, investors were very skeptical to invest further in such startups. The second reason for their failure is that in order to make the service affordable, they were not charging at all for delivery. And so, due to high logistics and operational cost, they were not able to generate profit. Same old story, right? If you are in a startup that gives delivery to people, obviously you are not going to charge for delivery, because once you start charging for delivery, most of your customers are lost, and due to this, unfortunately, you have to compromise on your profit. The third reason is that after expanding to city like Bangalore, the company was in losses, right? After expanding into one or two cities, the company was in losses. But still, the founders, in the hunger of expansion, started expanding into more cities. And due to this, founders soon ran out of cash. So you need to understand this, that expansion is good from a startup point of view, but expansion should only be done after you are profitable in certain area, or else how long you will live on losses, right? So expanding fast is good, but expanding super fast can be fatal. So keep this point in mind. The fourth reason is that they unnecessarily added categories of breakfast and snacks, which was not a strong need, and so people did not subscribe to this service. Now, this is very easy to understand. Working couples have a certain amount of salary they receive. They are not super rich people, so the Yummist had to understand that they were only be willing to pay for one time of service, that is for afternoon meals, but they did not needed snacks and breakfast as such, right? So they unnecessarily expanded into this service, and this incurred a very high cost. So this was also one of the reasons. So these were the four main reasons why Yummist failed. So some learnings for you now. The main learning is that whenever you are doing a business that involves delivery, there are high chances your startup will be at loss. This is something that we have been seeing in the history of startups. Never it has been that you are involved in a grocery delivery startup or e-commerce startup that gives delivery and you are profitable. This is a very rare scenario, right? So the only way to give free delivery as well as generate profits at the same time is to have at least 60 to 70% gross margin. For example, if you notice D2C companies, most D2C companies are profitable. And why is it so? They are profitable because they have very high gross margins, at least 70%. Now, why high gross margins? Because if you have high gross margins, then only you will be able to incur the delivery cost. The second learning is that you should add new product categories only after you have a huge customer base, because then it will be easy to sell those new categories. Here in case of Yummist, they did the mistake of adding breakfast and snacks along with their core offering at the start only. They should have added it 4 to 5 years later when they would have a huge customer base, because then entering into new markets would become easier because then you have a brand value. If only after 1 or 2 years of operation you start doing 10 different things, it is not going to work out for you, right? The third learning and the most important learning is that generally what founders think is to always raise money after you exhaust money of previous round, right? This is what we have been seeing in different startups, that once your funds are exhausted, you are again in the race of raising more funds. But ask yourself, how long will investors fund you? Just ask yourself this question. The better approach always is to raise 1 or 2 rounds of funding at the start and generate enough profits so that you don't depend too much on investor. Because if you need investors to run your business forever, you are going to be in trouble. This is the single most important learning that I want you to take from this video. This is extremely important. You always need to take profitability in your mind. You just can't be like, let's grow right now and we will see profitability after 5, 6 rounds of funding. That day will never come, right? If you see startups like Zomato and Paytm, which are heavily loss making startups whose losses have been expanding year on year, now after their IPO, their share prices are 50 to 60% down. Why is it so? The only reason is that they are loss making company. Yes. So keep this point in mind, reflect on this. So I hope you took something valuable from this video. See you in the next one.